Hello everyone, my name is Aleisha and today I will be speaking about children's rights within education. Before I begin my speech today, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the land on which we meet and pay my respects to the past, present and emerging elders. Before beginning this presentation, I would all like you to participate in my very first activity on what are your views on the rights of children within education. For this activity, you will need to click on the Padlet link to add a comment on your views of children's rights in education. And if the link doesn't work, you will be able to search for it, or I have added it in with my resources. I have found a short clip which explains a small section of what is children's rights. If you wish to watch the whole of this video, the reference will be attached to my submission form.
On Mars. Whee! I am coming to invade and you cannot stop me. Hello? Is that my brother Jack? I have the robots taken over again. Ruby, I am going to shrink you with my shrink ray. You can't do that. It's against my rights. Right? Well, what if I use my left hand? No, Jack. Rights aren't about right or left hands. We learnt about it at school today. Rights are things people need to live a full life. You mean full like I feel way too much birthday cake? No, silly. A full life means being able to be happy and healthy. Like having healthy food, not having to drink water with yucky stuff in it. Why would you drink water with yucky stuff in it? In some places, it's hard to find clean water. And if you drink the yucky water, it might make you sick. And if you can't go to the doctor, you might die. Hey, that's not fair. Exactly. Every child around the world has the right to live a safe, healthy life, no matter who they are, where they grew up, or what they believe, or anything like that. Really?
Continuing on from the video of what is children's rights. Children's rights are at a high importance for education within Australia. Article 3 for the Unconvention of the Rights of a Child, also known as UNCRC, states that all schools should ensure that all teachers are working towards what is best for each child. Article 12 states that all children have the right to express their own views. Article 23 states that all mental and physically disabled children should enjoy a full and decent school life. And Article 32, it states that all children should not have any interference within their education. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, ratified by the Australian Government in 1990, requires Australia to recognise the right of education, and everyone under the age of 18 years. In recognising this right, Australia is committed under the Convention to making primary school education compulsory, available and free to everyone. Indigenous rights within the education system are highly important. Article 14 states the rights to establish and provide education in their own language. Article 17 states that the linguistic needs of the child who is Indigenous. And Article 13 states that a person of Indigenous origin exists, belonging to such a minority, shall not be denied the right. Indigenous education and adapting to Indigenous people's culture and values, ensuring the right within education is the best way. This is not by any means ignoring the challenges posed by national societies or shutting out the outside world, but the importance to Indigenous communities themselves is quite high for the social and cultural development of Indigenous people. Within Australian schools, there is many points that have to be considered to make sure all children have a protective, provisional and participative learning environment. They are sustaining a safe community and making sure all children are safe at school. Acknowledging the child's participation is essential for the child's well-being and the efficiency of learning within the school community is highly supported. Developing, sustaining and supporting A safe environment school for all children takes responsibilities from the teachers. Teaching school communities has to also achieve the protection responsibilities for a child within the school above participation of children, and all school community members allow and encourage an engaging school environment and allows diversity to grow. My partner and I will be focusing on the 3 Ps within children's rights. The 3 Ps are protection, provision, and participation. I will be explaining all 3, but will be mostly going into depth of participation. Protection. UNCRC states, which is the responsibility of the government, making sure that all children's rights are respected, protected, and fulfilled. The Convention ratifies that they agree to review their laws within the relation of children. Educational systems, social services, legal and health are all involved and have levels of funding for all services. Obligations from the government must take all steps needed to guarantee that the minimum standards within the Convention that have been set are all being met. Protection for all families is a must for the rights of the child, and the environment must be created so that families can grow and reach their full potential. In some instances, this may involve changing existing laws or creating new ones. Such governmental changes are not imposed but come about through the same processes by which any law is created or reformed within a country. Provision. The provision right is that the child has the right to live. Government should ensure that children survive and develop healthily. State parties must ensure that to the maximum of extent possible of survival and development of the child, nutritious foods and clean drinking water are taken into consideration of dangerous risks to children. Participation. Article 12 of the Convention states that recognition of the level of a child's participation in decisions must be appropriate to the child's level of maturity. Children's ability to form and express their opinions develops with age, and most adults will naturally give the views of teenagers greater than those of preschoolers, whether in family, legal, or administrative decisions. So why is child's participation important? Having children participate is at high importance within their school community, as it allows children to greater their abilities in opportunities, teaches them new skills, gives them a chance to enjoy themselves and to create a closer connection within their teachers and their peers. With having the participation of children within the school community, it can make sure that teachers can provide support and help children with their development where it is needed. Participation from the students helps children to learn to be active participants in their society through experience in making or influencing decisions within their classroom. The school and the educational system, through their own special skills and insights, they can bring a consumer perspective to the classroom. Cavan and Swapper state that good practice includes a listening culture among staff, clarity and flexibility, adequate resources and skills development from the staff, participating student, inclusion of marginalised group, feedback and evaluations. So what is the participation cycle? The participation cycle is a Western Australian commission. However, if we as teachers were to use this cycle, it would be very successful in our classrooms. There are 4 steps within this cycle. The step is deciding to let children have a participation stage. This step is broken up into 3 parts. The first part is which is deciding if you want the children to participate in and what you want them to participate in, to the extent you wish the child to participate in, and what action you will take. The second stage is preparing to let children participate, which is broken up into 2 phases. They are preparing your school for participation from the children and then considering whom it will participate. Once you have chosen the way children will participate, you will need to begin this step 1 of the third section of the participation cycle, which is the practicalities of involving children, and this is creating engaging and fun presentations. After this, to put into consideration planning your communication, and then to ensure the experience is rewarding for all students. The final stage of the participation cycle isn't following up after children have participated, getting feedback from the children, and making sure you deliver what was agreed on in the beginning. Hart's ladder of participation has 8 different rungs. However, the last 3 rungs are non-participation. They are: young people are tokenized, young people are decorations, and young people are manipulated. The first rung that is included within the participation stage is young people and adults share in decision making. Young people and adults share projects or programs which are then initiated to empower young people and children, but allowing them to still gain access and learn through adults' life experience and expertise. The second rung is young people are initiated and directed. This step allows children and young people to direct a program. The third step is an adult initiated and decision with young people, and happens when adults initiate programs or projects and is shared within young people and children. The second last rung that includes participation is consultant and informed. This happens when young people give advice on projects or programs, and adults make outcomes and decisions, but young people inform us of their inputs. The last rung is assigned but informed. The young people are assigned a certain role and informed about how they will be involved. Links to the participation ladder. The links from the participation cycle to the participation ladder are quite given. The first link is involving children to participate. The second one is involving children in decision making. And the third link is in allowing children to give ideas on tasks. The next one is that children are allowed to give feedback. The final link is that teachers can give children feedback. National and state commissioners' offices throughout education implementations as legalisation differs in each state. Australian Capital Territory states that they believe consulting with the children will help you to have more successful and effective programs within all our classrooms, as it acts in the best interest of all children. New South Wales states that having children participate and having their say about what interests they have, this will allow it to be covered in planning for all children. Queensland states that children and young people have very important roles and play as active participants in designing, delivering and evaluating. South Australian commissioners state that valuing children's inputs is very respectful, and it is extremely important for all children, as it shows and demonstrates that their input is valued and allows a relation of partnership. Tasmania says that children participation is important as it allows children to have a say and opportunity to learn new skills. Victoria states commissioners increase the participation of children in the Commission's work. They find that receiving direct input from children has a creative and effective process. Western Australia says by valuing the voice of a child, it has a positive contribution to our society. They also state they can consult children and young people. All states have all links within the participation cycle and the participation ladder. How could using the participation cycle and the participation ladder be successful and engaging to all states within our country, Australia? When using the participation cycle and the participation ladder to Australian Capital Territory, New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, and Western Australia, allows all children to have the opportunity to participate in planning, directing, and decision-making on what they learn, and allows them to create projects or programs. With using these models, it would be a successful tool as it allows all children to have a say, have a voice, be engaged, give advice, give feedback to the teachers, get feedback from the teachers, and to have an interest within the school community. And by having roles, allows all children to be highly participative in their school communities. Focusing on the participation of children in decision-making. It means involving children in decision-making. Tricetta says when children and young people are initiated and directed, they have a primary idea and decide how the project will be carried out. He then says when children are initiated, they are able to share decisions with teachers, allowing them to set up projects and come to teachers for all advice, discussion, and support. The third important stage of involving children in decision-making within education is that it allows them to understand the project and they know who decided to let them participate and why. Adult initiation and shared decision within education allows children to have participation in every step of the planning. The final stage is consulted and informed. The project is assigned and run by teachers, but have a full understanding and are consulted throughout the process, and all opinions are taken seriously. To complete this presentation, please complete the survey for the second activity. There are some short response questions relating to children's rights in education. So, what is the essential human right to the child? Education. It offers individuality, empowerment, and development benefits for their future. However, education is underprivileged in many countries rather than Australia due to poverty. The UNCRC promotes legal obligations that offered every child to the right of education. From this move, it promoted and developed children's rights by giving children protection, provision, and participation within their school community. The United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization states that education is the most powerful tool by which economically and socially marginalized adults and children can lift themselves out of poverty and participate fully as participative citizens. Rights are the things that every child should have or be able to do. All children have the same rights. Almost every country has agreed to these rights, and all the rights are connected to each other and are all equally important. Sometimes we think about the rights in terms of what is the best for children in a situation and what is critical to life and protection from harm. As you grow, you have more responsibility to make choices and exercise your rights. Thank you for listening. But don't forget, children's rights are very important.